I'd say that I'm very happy to be with you all, even if in a virtual mode. I'm Gianluca Ziosi, ACSI Vice President. ACSI is the Italian association that deals with people affected by sarcoidosis and their family, and focused on bringing together doctors and researchers who deal with this pathology. Starting from February this year, meaning the outbreak of COVID pandemic in Italy, ACSI has addressed the COVID problem in order to give immediate assistance. The very first action taken by ACSI was the establishment of a constant link with the Italian Ministry of Health that enabled us to create a virtual working group made by clinicians, researchers from all over the country with a specific expertise on sarcoidosis internationally recognized and patients to correlate the different needs. ACSI started collecting individual experience and difficulties that every day involved citizens affected by sarcoidosis. As a result of the data collected in this way, ACSI has promoted an action to protect all those people who, due to the stage of the disease or the type of therapy, could be considered more exposed in the action of this virus and its most harmful evolution, such as long-term chronic sarcoidosis. ACSI subsequently involved the Ministry of Labour to ensure that the protection included not only job retention, but also extraordinary protection that would allow workers to remain safe at home without affecting the treatment of abstention from work due to illness. All this lasted until a few weeks ago. However, the daily dialogue with specialists and citizens who rely on the association immediately highlighted the need for a greater understanding of what was happening. A great opportunity has been proposed by to ACSI, thanks to the call that Professor Bob Bofman, pneumologist of the University of Cincinnati, addressed to ours and some other European association with that for years have been involved in collaboration with the ERS task force on the revision of the guidelines for treatment of the disease. Professor Bofman has drawn up a proposal for a survey that each association could translate into its national language and propose it to population of each country via the web. The results would be shared and brought together in a supranational study, but they could also be studied and developed in their home countries. Actual response was immediate, in agreement at the same time in all the countries involved. The Italian survey was published for a month, starting from April the 9th, and then repeated for the entire month of July this year. The first survey was able to count on the response of 721 people, the second 513. In total, 823 people answered the questionnaire once. The numbers, as you can see, are there's not a big difference between gender, male and female, and the ethnicity, of course, is mostly of one type. The place of living of people, we have a bigger numbers on the north part of Italy that was hit more than the center and the south. The data were collected and given to both Professor Bofman and University of Siena, where Professors Elena Bargaglia and Paolo Rottoli and a pool of young researchers further integrated the data and administrating the same questionnaire to a large number of patients. The group of doctors led by Dr. Patricia Sapressa was involved in the research too. These two institutes obtained a further 309 separate surveys. And now it's Filippo presentation.
Good morning. I thank to the ERS and the ELF for the possibility to speak to you this morning. From what we said so far, it is clear that this difficult time has not, however, weakened the will of those who work in defense of their fellow sick people, nor of doctors and scientists, despite being overwhelmed by the pace of the events. The experiences we have lived through these activities has given us some important lessons which I gladly share with you. Through this experience, we could fully live the meaning of the concept of sarcoidosis awareness. First, through the several daily contacts that our volunteers have received, in which we have confronted with to resolve the doubts related to living with sarcoidosis and during the pandemic. Then we were excited to get such a big answer to our questionnaire call. Our national association estimates that in Italy there are about 6,000 people living with sarcoidosis. Try to imagine then the wonder in seeing day by day that over 1,000 people contributed to give an answer to the most distressing question for all of them. Do the people with sarcoidosis risk more than the others to become ill with COVID? And if they get sick, are they more likely to go to the ICU than others? This is an enormous stimulus to improve all the association activities with ever greater impetus, but also to grow in numbers involving more and more fellows of illness, families, doctors, politicians, and citizens. Imagine that when this path began in November 2011, our association has hardly a dozen members and a group of about 50 friends across the nation. ACSI will be 9 in November. Members have been over 200 for some years by now, while about 4,000 people are active in relationship with our association through social media, nation assemblies, or events our School of Sarcoidosis. That's a strong stimulus to pursue the objectives of the association that begins to be remarkable for a rare disease. This situation gives us new opportunities. It is fundamental for researchers and doctors to be able to count on such a big and cooperative group of patients, especially those doing research on a rare and orphan disease. Patients can give them new and unexpected research horizons. And what happened? Show it. As we said, Professor Bob Bofman, the Dean of Sarcoidosis Research Luminaries Worldwide, called people from various European countries to answer a questionnaire created under the University of Cincinnati auspices and the Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research. In just 4 months, we could move from the idea to the collected data. This was possible because the professor learned about this opportunity through the work of ERS Task Force for the sarcoidosis therapy. In this experience, some European Patients Association, the US Patient Foundation, and all the researchers have been working together for 3 years, and more than 1 scientific article has been already written in this context. In all this, the ELF has played and plays, of course, a crucial role. Although the doctors are still processing and understanding the data collected, we can already share an important fact for patients with sarcoidosis. Over 1,000 people included in the study from the country that first faced the COVID pandemic. Only fewer than 20 were infected, and only 2 of these were taken in the ICU. This is encouraging because compared to the normal population, it appears to be perfectly aligned. It would seem possible to say that neither sarcoidosis nor the important immunomodulatory therapies to which patients are subjected pose a greater risk to these people. It is certainly an unexpected and strongly encouraging fact, especially since we managed to share it while the pandemic is still going on. That allows this community to face all this with greater courage and clarity. Of course, we recommend everyone to wait for both the global and the Italian scientific works that we will be happy to share as soon as possible. Amici Contro la Sarcoidosi Italia thanks the ELF, ERS, and all the doctors and the researchers who together believe in the therapeutic alliance as a fundamental means to grow in medicine, fundamental in a difficult and rare disease. Thank you.